Hey everyone, welcome to a new episode of the You Got the Ron Dude podcast. I'm your host, Ron Jammin. Thank you very much for tuning in. Podcast is available on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. Don't forget to subscribe, like, share, follow, rate, review, all that fun stuff. I do appreciate it. This episode, I got another movie review for you. How about that? May is movie month. Finally, just like, you know what? Just press play. Build all these playlists over the years and I would never watch them, like not completely. And now it's just like, nope, I want to watch this one. Don't second guess it. Fantastic Four First Steps came out last year. And this review does contain spoilers, so you have been warned. And I'd love to hear from you, so leave some comments. I'll have links to my socials in the description. But anyways, let's get right into it. Well, on IMDb, the movie currently has a 6.8 out of 10 score. Rotten Tomatoes, critics score 86%. Holy moly. And audience score 90%. Those are impressive. Quite a difference from the IMDb score, but I'm going to give this movie a 7 out of 10. Because the first hour is really good. I love the pacing and everything pretty much throughout, but I'll get into why later on it kind of loses the tone, which again I'll explain. But let's see, directed by Matt Shakman, who I'd never heard of. I was concerned because I was going through his wiki page and it's only his second feature film. And his first one was from about 12 years ago, so that's quite a gap. But he has a lot of TV credits and some shows I'm familiar with. So it's interesting with studio, especially with these big budget, big name movies, they take risks and I'm not sure why. When the director doesn't really have the credits to back it up. But like I said, movies not so much, but definitely with TV. But I hope that Matt returns or is asked to return to direct the sequel. Maybe even an Avengers movie one day. We'll see. Movie did $521 million at the box office worldwide. Not a great number. Something like this, you'd be like, can we get to $1 billion? The budget was $200 million, but after UK tax breaks, it was 181. And so they got their money back, so that's great. But with the scores being so high, you just figure this movie easily would have made $1 billion in its run. But like I said, I gave it a 7 out of 10, and I'll get into why. But the movie, like I said, it's really good. It's very strong, but there's nothing really that stands out per se. It's a very solid flick, but there's no action sequences that I'd pick out of it and watch on their own. It relies on, a quote, a very famous quote. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. But other than that, it's, we will protect you and we'll win as a family. They've kind of run out of quotes at this point. No lines that stand out, but let me know what you think in the comments. Well, I do want to compare this to the other two versions, two attempts, if you will. Not counting the 94 classic Lost movie, which I've seen parts of. But I'm talking about like big budget theatrical releases. So we'll start with the 05 cast. Directed by Tim Story. He directed Fantastic Four, the 05 and 07 follow-up, Rise of the Silver Surfer. And I think he did a good job. Obviously, when you watch those now, the CGI doesn't look great, except for like Johnny Storm and Doctor Doom. And Silver Surfer, of course. But with Mr. Fantastic, it's very animated. Because that's probably what they went with. That's why it looks so goofy and hard to paste the actor's face on and make it look convincing, but it did a good job. That, of course, is Jessica Alba, Chris Evans. That's right, Captain America. Michael Chiklis, and I don't know if I'm pronouncing his name right. Joan Gruford. Now, ever since then, until I watched this, Joan, we'll call him Joan, I love his portrayal of Reed Richards. I think he knocked it out of the park because he can be funny, exciting, dramatic, just a great combination of that. Like, perfect fit for the role. And with this iteration, I was like, because with me, it's like, yeah, Pedro's been doing a lot of stuff. His career is booming. But I don't let that affect, what I'm watching currently. Because I can get lost in movies, And he knocked it out of the park with his performance. Now, it's a very serious read. He's not fun. No one-liners, which is good because the character kind of keeps the same emotion throughout. He's very level-headed. He is smart. But he's not annoying or anything and never comes off as arrogant. Everything he's built, he never seems satisfied, which is great because just like Iron Man, it's like, well, you keep building, learning from your mistakes or mishaps and that. And, man, with the multiverse, I'd love to see those two. Because they'd have great banter back and forth, but just both terrific performances. So shout out to Pedro. He made it his own. And, well, I guess we got to talk about the 2015 one. When I first saw it, because I was like, no, it's good. It's just, there's a lot missing, and the cast is great, the names and that, but Miles is great, but his read just didn't stand out in any way. It's, that whole production was troubled in that, and there was some good stuff throughout, but not too much. But with Joan and Pedro, they just knocked it out of the park. And Sue Storm, Vanessa Kirby, and Jessica Alba. I liked Alba's portrayal. There just seemed to be more range with her character, because she could be really fun, really menacing, serious. Kirby is more stoic, and it's a great performance, but the character, you're not really rooting for her. And it was just a very bland performance. And again, just not a lot of range, but I still think Vanessa did a good job. And her and Pedro had great chemistry. Let's see, The Thing. What is it? Moss-Bachrach. And Michael Chiklis. Again, I'm going to go with Chiklis overall. I like the build of the character, and he could be funny without trying to be, and just more range as far as, the loss he went through, with his wife leaving the ring on the bridge, and with Eben's character, like the eyebrows and the beard, which is interesting, and he did a really good job with it, but with Natasha Lyonne's character, it's kind of like, well, did he want to be your friend? Did he want to hook up? So I think in the 05-07 movies, they gave him not even necessarily more of a character arc, but just more to do. And you really felt for the character. And this new one, not that this takes away any points or anything, just an observation, I don't think they ever call him The Thing. They always call him Ben. So I just found that interesting. But both great performances, but it just seemed like the Tim Story versions gave his character more depth in that, and you really feel for him. And Reed is trying to help him more. And let's see, Johnny Storm. Of course, Chris Evans. And Joe Quinn. Now, Quinn I had to look up because I was like, this guy looks familiar. And remember, him and Pedro were both in Gladiator 2. So look that up, watch that. But mostly his work, I'd never even heard of him. And of course, Chris Evans is great in everything. And I like that, just like with Ben Grimm, The Thing, there was more range, more of a struggle in that. In this one, not that it's a bad thing, but he gets along with everyone, including Ben. And I kind of miss the conflict in that. So, both great performances. I think both of them knocked it out of the park. But with character arcs in that, again, I got to give it to Tim's story. Because you get more emotionally invested. And in this new one, now it's on a different Earth, but with a 60s type setting. But Johnny isn't really a playboy or anything. And I like that he kind of falls for the Silver Surfer, but that's kind of it. And no conflict with the others. Whereas Chris Evans and Jessica Alba are going back and forth, in those movies. And it's fun because in the end, they all come together and we got to fight this battle. We got to take down this enemy. But I think Pedro's performance stood out the most. Because he just did an amazing performance. He really made it his own. And much like Sue Storm in this one and the new one, when you watch it, it's kind of like, well, there's no range. I mean, he doesn't have any one-liners. He doesn't really smile. And it's like, yeah, but it's just a great performance. And the character, I don't know how else to explain it. Hopefully that makes sense. But it's perfect. Because when things go down, we can take him seriously. He's not joking around. Not saying that Jones' character in the first two are like that. He could be fun and serious, and it was a great balance. This is a very almost stoic performance. But you root for him. And you're like, he's taking everything seriously. But let me know what you think in the comments. Well, obviously I wasn't in a hurry to watch this movie. And only because in the trailers, I wasn't really reeled in. Because it's like Galactus and the Silver Surfer. I'm like, well, that was, the second one in the Tim Story franchise. And I'm like, well, that's been done. But we actually get to see Galactus in this one, which is cool. And I thought, oh, he's a big purple guy. It's like, well, we've kind of conquered that already, haven't we? Because I just felt like it was borrowing a lot from Rise of the Silver Surfer. Especially with Sue's death, Johnny versus the Silver Surfer. Even when they go up into space, and I'm like, that's from that movie. What are they doing here? Are they trying to remake that specifically? Okay, but you want new ideas in that, and new shots and everything. But I'm really glad I watched it, because I was blown away. And it is a good movie. It doesn't really have the rewatchability factor like the Tim Story movies. But, I mean, the first few minutes, it's already a step up from the 2015 one. And I'm still hoping, even though it's been 11 years now, we get to see Trank's cut of the movie. I would like that. Because it could still be bland, boring, not great. But I am curious, because he said, in his tweet, when the movie came out, I believe, he said a year ago I had a fantastic version of this, but there's studio interference and they edit it differently, take stuff out, which is too bad. But this one, I wouldn't say makes up for it, because, again, with the 2015 one, there's a great cast in that. I just think that, much like the Justice League movie, we have the two cuts of it, and it's like, well, give us both, But this one definitely a step up. I'm glad I watched it. It's a really good movie, almost great. But again, it does borrow a lot from the Silver Surfer movie that we've already seen. Like I said, I really enjoyed this movie. However, I did jot down some of the voices weren't very audible. Specifically, Silver Surfer and Galactus. I mean, you need subtitles because the echoing in that doesn't help. So there needed to be a better balance of that with the volume controls in that. Because when they're speaking, it's like I can make out some of what they're saying, but I can't imagine what it was like in the theaters. Doesn't ruin the movie, but you have to go back and be like, what are they saying? And I don't think the baby was CG, but was inserted. I remember when Ben sitting on the sofa and holding baby Franklin. And I was like, they didn't do a good job with the special effects on that. It looked like the baby was digitally inserted. Because it just didn't look right. So it could have been like the lighting, shading, textures and that. Because I'm like, why does that baby look fake? And then even when Franklin is on Sue at the end, it's like it doesn't really match up. It's like, again, they took a shot of the baby crawling and inserted it, trying to save her. And this was another thing that kind of kept me away from the movie, like not seeing it right away. Of course, I was going to watch it, but remember in the beginning I said with Mr. Fantastic, with Reed, in the 05-07 movies, when you see him stretch, you're like, well, that looks like a cartoon, because it was animated, clearly. Now this one, they're getting close to making it look real. But some of the shots, it's kind of like, 20 years and it still looks like that, huh? Now, obviously, a person stretching their body like that, it's going to look different. But it just didn't look convincing. But they're getting close. It looked better than those ones. But let me know what you think. Well, after the Fantastic Four returned to Earth after visiting Galactus, whom they hunted down, they're doing that press conference, that really quick one, where Reed informs them, of what happened, that Galactus wants their child. And I was like, why does this shot not look good? Because the lighting was off. The first half of the movie, it's like everything's on point. On Earth, everything's bright and poppy, that 60s kind of decor and that. And the rest of the movie, there were some issues with that. Because I get at night, they're trying to preserve power in that, so that makes sense. But still with HD, it's like, well, wouldn't these shots still look good? So I did deduct a point for that. Well, I still have to write my review for Deadpool and Wolverine, which I did watch last year. And I was surprised because we thought Deadpool was going to reveal Captain America. Turns out it's Chris Evans back as Johnny Storm. So that came out the year before this, First Steps. And I wonder what the new Johnny Storm thought. It's kind of like, wait, we're rebooting this franchise again. Why are you bringing this guy back? Wouldn't it be better if you introduced me? Obviously, the fate of the character in Deadpool and Wolverine, be like, well, that's not going to happen. But I wasn't sure if, because we know Chris is coming back as Captain America in Avengers Doomsday. So is he going to have a scene with the new Johnny? They look at each other and like, have we met before? Have we worked on the same team before? Or like Johnny pats Cap on the shoulder and has a little flame going, and then, he puts it out. He's like, just checking. Something like that. But because when I saw that, I was like, that's interesting. Because I wonder, well, what does that mean? Because there are other versions of Johnny Storm out there. But anyways, I thought it was cool and interesting, but I'm curious what Joe Quinn thought about it. Because it's like, putting a lot of money into this. You sure you want to bring back the old one? It's like, yeah, he killed it as Captain America. People love Chris Evans. And it was a very brief scene in that movie. But curious what you think, so leave some comments. Well, I'm glad I didn't record my review right away, because I gave myself time to think about things. Because after the movie, I jot down everything I thought of. Everything I liked, didn't like. And one thing that stood out to me, and I looked this up hours after. Because I was like, I think there's a major plot hole in this. Because when Galactus arrives on Earth, because, their plan was to keep him separated from his ship. So they put him into that portal and he gets lost wherever. And I was like, okay, but when Galactus landed, or even before he landed, why wouldn't he just use that tractor beam and extract Franklin? Even in that baby carrier. Kind of like when they first go to hunt down Galactus and he has that beam, on their ship. Because then I thought, well, he might fear Franklin because of, his power. But it's like, well, at the same time when he landed and when he got to the tower, he just snatched him out of the building. No hesitation. So I was like, so that's not it. But obviously with a movie, you have to make it challenging and kind of like, well, why didn't the Eagles just fly Sam and Frodo to the volcano? It's like, well, it'd be a very short movie. And it's like, I get it, but you got to be creative about like, well, this would be easy to be like, well, he's worried if it goes, if he goes near it, it could destroy him. Or maybe Reed taught it, kind of like an animal. It's like, hunt, kill, destroy, that thing. And then I read up on it, and other people picked up on it, of course. So it's just one of those, why? But maybe they'll explain in a sequel or reference it in Doomsday. We'll see. But that's just something that stood out to me. And also I wonder, because I did read that the Silver Surfer closed the portal behind them when they got sucked in. So I don't know if she's going to be in the same place as Galactus or they're just going to be thrown all over the universe. The infamous credits scene. Nothing groundbreaking or shocking or, oh wow, you can't miss this. But people are talking about it, and it's a good setup for whatever. Because I wonder if Franklin removes Doom's mask. If he uses his power to do so, or if Doom just takes it off and, Franklin touches his face. And that left us with kind of a cliffhanger, but with Doomsday, with all the different timelines, who knows what's going to happen. And I think that movie, I'm going to call it now, is going to make $1 billion at least opening weekend worldwide, much like Avengers Endgame. And this movie didn't really set him up. It was more of a cameo at the, in the credits. Because towards the beginning at the UN summit, they pan across and the seat for the Latveria representative is missing a person. We presume it's Victor Von Doom. By the way, great name. Julian McMahon played him in the 05 and 07 movies, Fantastic Four and Rise of the Silver Surfer, and I think he did a great job. Because that cast, and they just had a great story and great character arcs in that, and he was very menacing, and just a great performance. So I was sad to hear that Julian passed, but I think before Fantastic Four First Steps came out, so I don't know if he even got to see like an early screening of the movie, but if he did, hopefully he liked it. But we've never really seen like the ultimate version of Doom on screen. Because the Julian version, the electricity in that and moving objects and stuff. But with this iteration, it's like, I think we're going to see the full potential of Doctor Doom. And the movies, since Endgame, they haven't like set him up or anything. That's why Infinity War and Endgame works so well, because there was a slow build-up. We see glimpses of Thanos, and then he's like, fine, I'll do it myself. Well, this, we just get this kind of boring cameo at the end of First Steps. And, I feel for the cast that's been built up as the new Avengers since Endgame. Because I figured it'd be another 10 years until we get an Avengers movie, but here we are 7 years later. going to come out in December so far of this year. But it's more like we got to bring back the OGs. Robert Downey Jr. is Doctor Doom. That's an interesting move. I would have kept that a secret until in whichever movie he takes off the mask and we're like, is that RDJ? Oh my gosh. Again, I would have kept that a secret. So why they revealed it, obviously you want to get people in seats. But there's got to be more going on. Is this a version of Tony Stark? Do Captain America, to him and Peggy, do they have Doctor Doom? Is that their baby in one timeline? There's so much speculation. Jonathan Majors went through his troubles in that, and I never really looked into it, but it's supposed to be the Kang Dynasty, this next Avengers movie. So he might be back. Is he going to work with Doom or get wiped out? And all the AI trailers and scenes, it's hard to keep track of what's real. Especially when they can make their own scenes and then have it look like it's playing in the theater and people going wild. I guess at the end of the Thunderbolts movie, the credits scene, we see the Fantastic Four ship arriving. And that's it. But then people make trailers like Captain America and Thor are on board. And Cap summons Mjolnir, the small hammer, the original one, over. And I'm like, that looks so real. And good looking shots in that, But I guess we'll see. So this movie, it's good on its own first steps. It doesn't really set up Doomsday in any way. Because I know we still got Spider-Man, Brand New Day coming out, which I'm really looking forward to. I love how different it looks. And how that's going to lead into Doomsday. Or if it's just its own story in a separate timeline. I guess we'll see. But I'm excited because with the Avengers movies, and spin-offs, you can do whatever you want. But it just gets complicated because you watch something and then you're like, oh no, that character's not coming back. So I guess we will see. Well, that is going to do it for my review of Fantastic Four First Steps. Not a great title. Kind of underwhelming. First Steps, what of Galactus on Earth? Baby Franklin. First steps for this franchise. It's okay. Then again, X-Men First Class. That was a good title because that's that's a first class of mutants. Not like X-Men Coach for the next one. You're like, wait, they're on a plane? What? But the cinematography for the most part was really good. Again, the first hour until they get back from Galactus when he's destroying a planet. But I like the camera work, the cinematography. The action is really good. It's clobber'n time. You can't beat that. They don't even really try. Even in the trailers, it's just, we will protect you. I'm like, well, that's not really quotable. We'll do it as a family. It's like, okay, Mrs. Toretto. But still, I gave it a 7 out of 10. Looking forward to seeing them in the Doomsday movie and beyond. And maybe exchange wits with the OG cast. We'll see. But definitely give it a watch. I'd love to hear what you think. And I think Pedro just nailed it as Reed Richards. Just a great performance. I love the action at the end. And the runtime is great. It's about an hour 47, I believe, until we get to the credits. So a good setup. But I'm not sure when I'll watch it again. And the Silver Surfer, everything was great, but I liked, seeing Shala's, Shala Ball, her backstory, her sacrifice. So I'm sure we'll see her again, maybe in Doomsday, we'll see. But anyways, thanks again for listening. Podcast is available on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. And remember to subscribe, rate, review, like, share, follow, all that fun stuff. All my socials are in the description. And I will see you next time. And it's clobbering time? Good theme song, but not really a song, but Fantastic Four. I like that.